First of all, Pat Chamberlain, I'm a member of the board, and we have kindly requested the attendance of these wonderful panelists to talk to us about how they got involved, where they are. This is a launch, but we've been playing around with some things for the last few months, and we're trying to learn from each other and to share some of our learnings with you. If, as you, I know when you go home, will want to jump on the bandwagon, and these folks are helping us learn as we go. And so I'm going to start with having everybody just do a short introduction of your name and your organization, and then I'll throw out some questions. And if, Amber, if you can be my timekeeper a little bit.
Yes, Ron's going to close out the meeting before you dismiss people.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks. We'll get us started here.
Good afternoon. Oh, good morning, everyone.
Good morning still.
I am actually not Shirley Bassett.
No.
Surprised everyone here. My name is Jeremy Hayes. I'm on the board of African American Coalition of Kane County, though, so that's why I'm subbing in. Got a call an hour ago, and I'm here ready to go. So I love it. I've been involved with basics actually since the beginning, when I first saw the email back in the day with Apple and all that. So glad to be here. I'm also on the board of Greater Family Health. I feel like I should give them a shout out because it's about a holistic thing. We know that for the kids. So here you go.
Jenny?
Hi, my name is Jenny Davis. I'm a nurse practitioner, pediatric nurse practitioner at Associates in Pediatrics. And I have joined up, and we've been a pilot site, and it's going great so far.
Chris Young. I'm from the YWCA Elgin, the ESL program. So I'm the Director of Family Literacy, which includes adult education, including workforce, career, and ESL classes. Then we have child ed classes, and then we have parenting classes, and kids in interactive literacy. They just changed the name of that, which we also do parents with their kids. And we are a pilot, and Dulce is part of our program with her son.
I have the own microphone. Hello, everyone. My name is Pilar Garcia, and I'm proudly U46 Early Learners Party Community Liaison. Then I'm so happy to be here, and then we get to the questions. Let me share the microphone.
Robin Siegel with the Siegel Foundation, and I think it was well over a year ago that Karina Nava, our third board member, and Amber met with us and told us about this great plan, and we were in from the beginning. So it's really exciting. Thank you.
Mark Siegel, also part of Siegel Foundation. I am made in Elgin. I am a product of U46, McKinley, Larson, Elgin High.
And Mark and I, you might have noticed when Suzanne mentioned Elgin High School.
Inside Maroon Drive.
We're there, has my kids as well. So I want to start with Mark. To talk about, I want to ask all the panelists their why. What is it? Why did you decide? I mean, Amber is persuasive, I know. But why did you decide to jump on the bandwagon with this new initiative that has been a very heavy lift to get us started? What made you say yes?
First of all, when you look at the basics, it's not rocket science. It's common sense. But unfortunately, we don't see these principles being used in parenting today. The status of parenting is scary. We don't have bad kids out there. We just have parents that are either absent or excessive. By that, the helicopter and snowplow parenting, it frustrates me when I drive early morning through our neighborhood and there are people driving their kids 2 doors down to the bus stop. I remember having to walk to school both ways uphill. These kids today need to learn to make mistakes and learn from those. The other is just the amount of screen time. that you see. You go to a restaurant and these kids are just addicted and the parents are on autopilot. So the basics to me is sort of a return to what we grew up with and just common sense, great parenting.
Okay, Robert?
Well, we didn't discuss this, but of course, that's what I was going to say.
Always.
Well, I mean, my main thing was the helicopter parenting, and that's a huge issue. We talked at our table about the stress that everybody goes through these days, and that's like really the key to figuring this all out is getting through that and trying to manage that. I feel like the texting is great for these parents because that's obviously everybody's glued to their phones. So I think when we first heard about this, I thought, well, that's brilliant because they're constantly getting reminders, and that's incredible. And the website's amazing. I mean, I always say, thank God I'm not raising children right now. I did it 30 years ago. But if I was doing that, I would be on this website. It's amazing. I'm going to tell everybody about it. So, yeah, it's great.
Same question, right? Well, like I mentioned before, have just spread this down to our community. Tell the families, tell the parents, tell our partners that this is something that we have to use, and tell people that they're using it already. Empower them, pointing them out and say, we're doing it, but we have to keep doing it with purpose now, with name and last name, like I say. Then just encourage people to say, let's go do this together. And like I say, as a grandma, as a mother, as a community member, as an educator, as part of this beautiful community, I'm so proud to say that we're doing it, and we have to keep doing it.
Okay, about, 6, 7 years ago, we met with DeKalb, people starting out. So I was on the Apple board back then. So I've been excited about this a long time. So this is really cool. It's for the Family Lit program that we run, this fits perfectly. It's what we've been doing, but it gives us a good structure to explain to parents that they're doing the right thing and to give them, I think, the intentionality, what people have said, and to see that they are their kids' first teachers. We say it to them, we talk to them about it, but this hits home with giving them the research, the background, and that it's a real thing. And it really makes them feel like they do know what they're doing and they are educating their kids and being part of their lives. So it's very exciting.
Okay, so a lot of what she said, but in the healthcare setting, it's stuff that we are already doing. I'm doing at each visit anyways, but it gives it a framework, and it's an intentional platform to get this universal messaging across and encourage parents. And that's what I spend a lot of time doing, is reassuring parents that they're doing the right thing. And so everybody's worried and scared and nervous, and it just is a straightforward, easy, simple, but also research-based way to meet all of their concerns and worries.
I would say my why, other than Amber being quite persuasive.
We know.
I remember maybe 20 years ago, a study in Time magazine that spoke about the 1 million less words per year with families that were living in poverty. So from then on, before I had kids or anything, I've been waiting for a program like this. So this perfectly fits in line with everything I've been studying, everything I've been, really kind of raising my own child. I have an 8-year-old and 18-year-old. 8-year-olds going to the gifted program, so I did follow the basics.
The formula, Ron's formula.
Yeah, it's all about building community for me everywhere, and it obviously starts with the children, so I had to be involved.
Thank you. Jenny, I'm going to go to you next. Jenny and Associates in Peds have been an early implementation partner, and as such have had opportunities to learn from that experience. So I'm wondering if you can give us a few ideas of what you've done in terms of implementation.
So we were lucky enough to get, like a lot of these engagement stations that you see, we have that exact setup in our office. And I have already seen, like, kids are just like drawn to it. They love it. And our waiting room had a few things before, but this really like spices it up a lot. So that is huge. We also have like the posters in the rooms, the ones with the little mirror in them, the informational posters. We're handing out the info sheets on the texting program. We're encouraging people to sign up. Patients and staff I think a couple have signed up their kids so far. We got Karen to come and educate us, and because I'm trying to explain this as I'm learning this to the office, and she did it in a much better way. So that has helped. Everybody's kind of getting on board, and I can see down the road that once we're all on the same page and everybody really gets it, that it's just gonna take off.
I think this is a great, Jenny was on the outreach and training subcommittee of the implementation committee of the Greater Elgin Basic of ELPA. Do I get a prize for saying? And one of the things that we started realizing was, we really need to think about a framework for training, that there's different levels, there's different avenues that we need to get into, and there's a lot of people out there. So we have broached that subject in Associates in Peds, and really are learning from that, and learning with some of the basics, or with DeKalb. We're going to work on something a little bit more formalized to help us think about what does that training look like. And the cycle that Ron was talking about is, how do you keep that cycle of implementation going, and how do we build that out with intentionality? And Jenny was one of the first people giving us guidance on that, so we're learning plenty. Thank you. Chris, kind of sort of the same thing, but in terms of how have you integrated the principles into the many programs you touch?
At the YW, we are lucky that we already were working on a lot of these things, and so we've been training teachers to just understand what we're doing. This is kind of where it fits in and the why. But we're also very lucky that we have a group of parents that meet at least once a week together. And we went through kind of just like going through what each thing means and what the names are and what the purpose of the program and the framework. But then we decided we had some small discussion groups and kind of how do you use this in your life. So then we decided to look at what's your routine every day, because one thing my parents, their biggest thing is we have time for nothing. We have time for nothing. So we're saying you're already doing this. We just want you to recognize it. So we said, okay, you get up in the morning, what do you do? And we just kind of went through some typical day things, helping your child get dressed, stopping at the grocery store. Oh, which one of these is? Oh, it's a bunch of them. Usually we're like, oh, you're reading, things, you're pointing at these, and so they really started to realize, oh my gosh, we're doing this, but just like be realizing, and I love the idea about at night before you go to bed, thinking through those. Can I use that? The other thing I just wanted to say with implementing anything, and what we've found in our program, because we're so lucky to have all these components at our one location with parents that we can get to know and who can get to know us. The trust between our parents as a group, the community they build, the safety they build between each other, the mentoring they do for each other because they're together for a school year is invaluable for implementing things like this. I know not everybody, but I'm sure like with Jenny, the trust between the patients that come in, the relationship is got to be there. It just has to. It's got to be built somehow. I know it's so difficult for some people who don't have touch with families often or whatever, the same people, but we see such a difference of buying in and understanding and believing when you can build any kind of relationship, which I'm sure you all know, but I had to say it.
It can't be said enough, right? And Pilar will reinforce that, won't you? Yeah, how have you integrated the principles? I already see it in your grandma role, abuelita, right? Us abuelitas stick together here. But within your work context, I think you've done some things in implementation. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, I conduct home visits as well. Then I'm really, really outside in the community. We outreach a lot of activities and events out of the community, most of the time with beautiful partners. Then every time that I have the opportunity to share, I do it. I have my flyers in my bag all the time, and I always say, oh, I see victims in here. And I just looking around to see how I can connect with people. When my family is already easy because they know me, they trust me, I have the relationship that Chris said, we build. But with people that we don't know, it's a little bit harder. Then that is the targeting. You know, it's like, it's not just the flyer and I say, here, this is an amazing program that you have to do. Is free, it's optional, but I mean sometimes it's not enough because we are so busy, like we say. Then try to have like the relationship with somebody. Like for example, the other day, my daughter had a visit for the high school mom, brand new mom, 4 months old. We sit together, we were like playing together, and then I say, I have news for you. I have something beautiful. And she just say like, hey, what it is? And it's like, well, this is the flyer. Here is the link. Let's go sign in. This is how it works. And then she goes like, oh, okay. And then this is how we can do it. I say like, you know what? Let's go try it. There's nothing wrong with try it. And then when you get in love is when you say, I'm sure this little one is going to pass that information to another mom who say like, this is going to help me, this is wonderful, this is free, this is practical, this is consistent. Then, like I say, every single time that I have opportunity to share, by example sometimes, because I even show them the text. Look, this is how practical is. It's amazing, and it's how they really have the connection. The connection is the piece of we can like spread this out. Then I'm sure we can do this. Then this is how I relate it with my job and with my daily life as well.
Shirley Bassett, who was supposed to be here this morning, is feeling ill, but one of the things I wanted to make sure that we talked about in terms of recruitment, one of the issues, one of the reasons you're here is because someone recruited you, and we have lots and lots of more people to recruit out in the wide world, right? So I told Amber I was at my bank the other day, and I'm like, hey, you got kids? He goes, yeah, I got kids. I'm like, hey, I just happen to have, this bank looks really sterile. Would you think do you have kids come in here? Do you think you might want to have an engagement station? Well, I don't know, I don't make those decisions. I say, well, who is that person then? So you just never know where you're just going to trip over somebody that all of a sudden, this is an opportunity for recruitment. And so Shirley and Jeremy's group have gave us an entree, right? Gave us an entree into I always get the words right, the African American Coalition of Kane County, and the ministry, the cooperative ministries. And so and Ron talks about that, having somebody that knows somebody, right, to introduce us to them. And Shirley has been absolutely instrumental in getting us in front of the ministers, and the ministers then are like, hey, I have an education person. Hey, I got a lobby in my church. Hey, I got places that we could implement some of this. So part of today is thinking about who else to recruit and setting up. It was a little maybe maybe 5-minute, maybe not, 15-minute little Zoom meeting just to introduce the topic. And so who do you know, who do you have connections with that might be interested? And we want to know them too. And in order to make that I haven't looked at the saturation map out there, but when I go look at it, to make it absolutely just so full we can't even see the background, that when we get together again, which we will, you know, Amber, that map is going to be so full and there's so many people we won't even be able to be in this size room. On behalf of Shirley, that's what she would have said. Yeah, more or less. I don't know if you have another.
Well, as far as spreading the word and who I know, yeah, I see a few people. There's at least one person per table in this room, I think, that I do know. So I usually don't do this, but to go through all the hats I wear, it's obnoxious in my opinion. I usually introduce myself as man on the street. But it's important because community has always been the center of society. So I've made myself intentional being part of as many communities as possible. Even as far as learning Spanish starting in high school and Swahili now. But I make myself a member of every basically organization that touches Elgin. I'm on the board of African American Coalition of Kane County, led by Shirley Bassett and founded by Gertrude back there. I'm on the board of Greater Family Health, 11 locations, 80,000 patients about. And that's very important because we know health, it's upstream factors, right? Just like with this, it's upstream factors. If your kid's not getting enough sleep, there's no way they're gonna pay attention. I'm also on the board of Shared Harvest, trying to open up a grocery store with healthy food. I founded a nonprofit called Your Neighbor Elgin, and we're gonna kind of expose kids to more art and more activities and more of the crafts that have been left aside. I'm also part of the Black Artists Collective. And I'm also, the way I survive capitalism, I'm a TV producer. So we have all those things, but most of the time, tell you the truth, most of my days are spent reading. That's what I do. People wonder, and I spend reading and I'm with my children. So what I'm gonna do, now hearing the basics of Elgin, when you come back next year, every single one of my groups is gonna be recruiting parents. So there's gonna be, I talked to Erin back there, she's gonna put up the mirrors, we're gonna have the books, it's gonna be all over Elgin. So, get the slides ready.
All right. Awesome. All right, and as time is flying, I'm going to start with Robin this time. No, Robin. I want you to dream with us. And what are your hopes and dreams when, in 5 years from now, what are your hopes and dreams for Greater Elgin Basics?
I think it's the theme that's going around here, that everybody knows about it. And we spread the word, and it's part of the community. And that's really it. 5 years from now, you bring it up, everybody you talk to said, oh yeah, I know what that is. I know how to implement it, and I'm gonna keep telling my friends and their friends, and it's just going to spread like wildfire.
Ooh, goosebumpy. Mark?
I'm going to talk about the students of Basics 5 years from now. They are bright, engaged, self-sufficient, and confident.
Ooh, yeah, amen. All right, Chris, I'm going to mix it up a little.
Very similar to Robin. I just want to see saturation everywhere. I want to see that people are following the basics, know what it is, are spreading the word, and the effect that we know it's going to have on everybody.
Okay, Jenny.
So, ditto. We would hope that it would just be second nature. Like in the office, everybody just talks about it like it's just the thing. The other thing, personally, for us that I would hope for, a lot of our patients are not in U46 or even in Elgin. So I would love to see more of Illinois, with their own basics pop up, or however, that can happen, so that I can just universally talk about it with every single patient. that we have.
That makes life easier for you, wouldn't it? Pilar, we'll go back to Pilar.
Well, I think my dream is that we're living in by the basic. They just have the implementation in our own lives first, and then living it with our little ones. Then that will be my dream, living it for sure.
Okay, Jeremy.
5 years from now, full saturation in the city, so much so that it's spreading across the whole northwest suburbs. That would be great, where people look at Elgin and say that's an example, just like you had Boston up here. Hopefully it'll be an Elgin logo on the bottom of there. And you're talking about how great we're doing here, and the gap's closing, and all the kids are in the gifted program instead of just a few. That'd be great.
Okay, I'll add my dream because I get the mic. One of my dreams, all of those things, right? That saturation is just what we all know, but also talking with Suzanne Johnson this morning, talking about how that where we go, everybody is thinking about, how do I integrate this into my work? How do I connect this? And innovative ways that none of us even have thought about so far. And so in 5 years, I am pumped to see what Elgin dreams up, because I know a lot of the people in this room, and I know we have an incredible spark of creativity and innovation and caring as a community, and I don't know what 5 years might look like, but I know that when I bring my grandkids here, this is a place they want to go. I'll tell one, because I'm going to tell one grandparent story, because I have to. So I'm a text message grandma as well, and this week the text message was, try this. It was about emotions. And so Thursday's my day with the baby. So yesterday I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old grandchild. And so my daughter and her husband were going out for their anniversary for dinner last night. And my 5-year-old had a meltdown. She's crying, screaming, kicking at the window. I don't want to go. I don't want to stay with Mimi. And the 2-year-old's eating a donut, going, "Yeah, what's going on?" And he looks at me and he goes, and I picked him up from preschool or from daycare, and they had been reading a book, Pete the Cat, about all the feelings, and they were happy and sad and grouchy. And he looks at me and he goes, and I said, how's Harper feeling? And he looks at me and goes, "Grouchy." I'm like, well, thank you, text message. This was exactly what I needed to do today. So these, I have an education degree. I've been doing early childhood for a really long time, and having a little text message to remind me to ask him that question was just the right thing I needed, because I didn't really want to concentrate on her at that moment in time. She needed her space. I need my space, Mimi. So I was giving her space, and Ryder and I were watching her manage her emotions and not be helicopter grandparent, right? I would like, we have a second for just anybody have one more final word that they would like to add. We have a minute or two left. Mark?
Could Robin and I get volunteers to help us get out of these chairs?
Yes, I can. I think we can round them up. This is a very collaborative group. Any final thoughts? All right. Well, thank you all for being early adopters and innovators. And if you'll just stay here till we get the directions for lunch, and then we can get you up out of those chairs, Robin.